Jim Parquet here with VPX Baseball, and today is our first lesson in this course on how to fix premature hip rotation. A perennial problem for hitters, perennial problem for pitchers, right? Premature hip rotation is pretty basic in definition and concept. Some people kind of misinterpret it a little, but I'll give you what it is at the impact level for top hitters in the game, right? So basically what we're going to boil it down to is rotating the hips before your barrel is prepared to hit, okay? Big difference there. A lot of people are like, well, premature hip rotation is your hips are blowing out too early. Okay, yeah, I get that, but what is too early, right? That is very different based upon the hitter, because a lot of hitters, bigger, smaller, whatever it might be, more of a slap guy, more of a power, whatever it might be, right? So ultimately speaking, define your premature hip rotation as hip rotation before your barrel is ready to hit, okay? Now, let's get to the actual definition of when your barrel is gonna be ready to hit, okay? Barrel is what hits the ball, not hands. So a lot of people, again, are misinterpreting things and saying taking knob to the ball the entire time, or too long, or you hit by taking your bottom hand to the ball. No, you hit by throwing your barrel at the hand and bringing what actually hits the ball to the ball, right? Which is your barrel, the top 15 inches or 10 inches of the bat compared to the bottom portion of it, okay? So in essence, if I'm taking my bottom hand to the ball the entire time, look what happens here, okay? So here's that $10 million pitch, okay? A lot of you guys are probably like, oh, that's too far out forward, right? A big league hitter wants that ball here because he's gonna do damage, because he's taking the barrel to the ball, but then he's throwing the top hand, or he's taking the knob to the ball, and then he's throwing the top hand to bring what actually should hit the ball, which is the barrel, right? Barrel lag, good, not barrel drag by bringing it there and going this way. It's barrel lag to top hand, so it should look like this, right? This ball should be hit right over second to second baseman for a lefty, and then opposite on the righty. Not over to the 4-hole, not over to the 6-hole, right? So if I'm a 2-0 count, I'm looking fastball, that pitcher makes a mistake, impact hitter, that's what we train, and this impact hitter makes pitchers pay on this pitch. We don't just get a base hit, we make them pay. Right here, boom. That ball is just slightly to the pull side on the second base, and again, like I always say, if I got some juice, ball's gone, but I don't have that, right? So again, it should look like this, okay? Where my barrel is being prepared back in here, slotted, launch angle creation, and then it's being prepared to do damage from here all the way to there. And if I get to the maximum portion or acceleration point in the degrees, where right here, my range of motion on my barrel manipulation, then I'll be able to smash that, right? So again, boom, prepare, okay? Right over second base, into the gap. Straight up compared to, and let's just say I'm more in a defensive or even count, and I got to see this ball a little deeper because I'm defending against this. This is when you bring that ball back, right? I'm going to again have to prepare in order to hit this pitch, right? So I'm going to prepare it and then hit it. Boom. Okay? Now I didn't prepare good enough because I blew open. I'm doing that on purpose to see the correlation between premature hip rotation, right? Kind of a doink right there rather than an actual drive. That ball is going that way rather than straight. So if I do it right, okay? If I do it right and I stay close, on goes the story. There it is. That's much harder and much straighter, okay? So, premature hip rotation, again, is defining it as you're rotating too early before your barrel is being prepared. So we have to prepare the barrel, therefore our hip rotation, and when it's initiated and when it occurs, is in alignment and sequence properly with barrel preparation, okay? So what are the components that cause this, right? Well, one is you always see this action, right? The front leg blows open. The reason why the front leg blows open, so you can see it here, okay, is my barrel is not prepared, okay? My barrel is still, my hands have gone a little too early, and I'm not slotted and giving myself an anchor back here that pulls and counteracts front movement, right? For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. But if I'm right here, then this is the action right here. It's only here, right? So it's kind of going that way or being pulled forward, and then it's going to go this way, right? Which is the opposite, which would be sideways, which is hip rotation, okay? Just think of, I always get guys to get a band, a rubber band, and pull it, okay? So I have a rubber band here, okay? I'm pulling it. If I pull back, what happens? I have to maintain more power here, right? Or it goes this way. So if I pull back and I pull forward, balance force. That's what hitters want. And then at that point, at the point of your front foot strike, you release and that rubber band flies, okay? What happens if I pull back and I don't have as much balance force here where I'm going back, right here, okay? What happens? When I release this thing doesn't fly as much. If we put it into baseball sense, if I pull back, I load, or my hands go back, and I don't have much that supports, okay? What happens when I release? Energy goes sideways, okay? Now what happens if I don't pull much, but I pull a lot? Meaning you get this way. What happens? The thing goes into the ground. Hence, this way, the ball goes down. Balance force, it goes up. Too much this way, it pops up. You get all the ideas and the correlations and science behind it. Pretty basic. So in order to prepare my barrel to sequence to my lower half, I've got to have a good support and hip move or back move where it's the separation, okay? And then that front foot gets down. Therefore, I'm not going to be doing this, okay? So if I have a good separation and my front heel is in the ground, that's basically this right here creating balance force, right? Balance force. This right here, where my front heel is not in the ground and I rotate to get it down, that's not balance force because this is it. This is the preparation right here. So that would be this and that because this is soft right here. I want to go boom with it, right? So that's boom right here, boom. Do this, real good, okay? That's front foot in the ground. You can toe tap into it, whatever you want, right? You can be here, you can toe tap, right? Toe tap, and then boom, it gets down, right? I'm still straight, and then off it goes, okay? So you get the kind of the idea on that. We're trying to create this action before we rotate. If we don't create this action properly, then it's premature hip rotation, right? So, when we're working on kind of figuring out if we're prematurely rotating our hips, okay? It's basically your front foot is not in the ground before you rotate, right? Before you rotate. You got to get your front heel into the ground and then rotate, and that's going to help you out. That's the sequencing. It's really basic. You don't really have to mess with much more than getting your front foot into the ground and then rotate. That's the sequence. Nothing else. Don't try to side skirt it. Don't try to like go into extras and whatever. Just get your front foot into the ground. Even if you don't have a good separation and you're compact, right? You're just compact and you're more of a rotational guy, or maybe you're a cage bomb kind of guy and this thing has to be deep, whatever it is, whatever type of hitter you are, you're not to that impact type of hitting just yet. As long as you get that front foot into the ground, I'm going to be short here. I'm just going to be kind of like cage bomber lifestyle. So bring it back right here, right? And this is basically where I can hit the ball right now. It's still okay, right? You're just not there yet, okay? So I'm going to get the front foot into the ground, and you're not going to see this, right? I can get it into the ground, but it stays pretty strong. I don't blow open. I don't do this, right? If I went here and then rotated, premature rotation, because my barrel's not ready, premature rotation, right? Watch what happens. I'm still linear, but watch what happens, and you'll see this go too much front knee flex and not enough front leg extension. Front knee flex, front leg extension, and they work hand in hand. Action, reaction, right? Action, reaction, action, reaction. You get the idea of how the body works, okay? So if I just do this and then rotate to get it down where that back heel comes up, watch what happens. It really pulls me down, okay? If I did it in full motion, okay? Here, watch this. That's kind of where it's at. I can't really get to that point because if I do it right, you'll watch. You'll see me get to that point. Front knee flexion, front leg extension, okay? I'm the short guy right here, okay? I'm exaggerating it so you can really see that action. That's good hip rotation, that's in sequence. Put it all together right here. You can see my finish is this, straight. I'm not over it, okay? I'm creating kind of an angle, not like that, we don't want to get too crazy, but some kind of angle. If you're over it, that's your head. Okay, that's the second portion of causing problems with premature hip rotation. It's not your hand path, it's not any of that. It's your head is getting too heavy over the top of where the furthest point of your range of motion is. So basically you're creating this line with your upper half, which would be kind of like this. My head goes, okay? My head goes, and then you're gonna see this, and I can't really sustain it, okay? So I'm gonna just do it in a fast motion here. I'm over it, okay? And then I had to blow open too early because it felt it. So basically you're putting too much weight too early on the front side, which it can't support it. It can do it this way, but it can't bring it properly up, which is that catapulting effect on the rotation. So what happens? We rotate early to get some of the energy off, and then we can go, okay? So you can't avoid it. Remember, static, non-competitive training is much different than in a game. We train to the game. That's a big difference here, right? Yeah, this is a static move, but we're training to compete in a game. And in order to do that, it's athletic movements, not static 1, 2, 3, 4 mechanics. It's all movement based and how energy flows through you, right? So if I put this all together here, and I get my front foot in the ground, you're gonna see this action here, and I'm gonna stay behind it, which is the last portion of making sure you don't have premature hip rotation or early hip rotation. Your pressure and what you're trying to accomplish stays inside of you, meaning it stays inside of your leg and especially your angular power. When we get outside and we start seeing this, look what happens, right? Kinesiology shows if I get on the outside, I've got to bend more and I've got to rotate more in order to support that. If I stay in, you see this action. This is great. I don't care how you get there. Just be this dude. But you can't do it like this because what happens? It goes that way, right? So you can't get over it. So in review, if I stay on the inside of it, bam, then my hips are going to rotate at the right time. Here we go, okay? There it is. And you can see the finish. Straight, there's the angle. I'm not over it. My head stayed back. I stayed behind it. I can hit that pitch. I was a little early on it. I could still hit this pitch. And I can hit it real well. I mean, I feel big time explosion into that. And then for anybody who's playing defense, or this is kind of your swing right now, you can hit this pitch right here, right? And you can do damage with that stuff. Plus, pitchers don't just live on the inside, they live on the outside, they live on the inside, right? Here's me right here, I stay behind it. Yeah, I got a little around it, kind of like this, but I still was able to keep that ball fair, okay? So, premature hip rotation is not defined by just hip rotation, right? That kind of thing. It's when are you doing it? Well, when do we do it? It's making sure that we rotate once I'm prepared for my barrel to hit. How do I do that? One is staying back, right? We talked about that, keeping the pressure and all of your energy inside of your front angular power and inside portion of your leg, not getting it outside, creating this action, right? And the one that trumps it all, don't worry about upper body, lower body, or anything like that. Just get your front foot down before you rotate. Don't get it down already rotated, just right here. boom. Get it down, rotate. Get it down, rotate. You sequence that, everything else falls into line, and then you'll be pretty successful. Hopefully you like this one. Check out our other videos in this course. We got a full line of products to get you to the big leagues.